I'm trying out a new phone. So far it's just a camera, but I think this has motion stabilization, so maybe this isn't so bad as with my Samsung phone. But I noticed that the angle of the camera is narrower, so I have to remember to hold it further away. I was listening to Gabriel Carcassi and some young kind of students that were discussing probability and quantum mechanics with him on a kind of Zoom call like thing, but they did it on YouTube as well. It was interesting, but thinking about what the problem is, I think we got an inverted meta-language problem. In quantum mechanics, whereas in logic the meta-language is well and better understood but less formal, than the language you're defining the semantics with. And it kind of works in logic because having defined some formal semantics, you can then rewrite your meta-language description in the formal language. So you then gain precision. But in quantum mechanics, I think the problem is that the meta-language, which is the kind of English stroke German that physicists speak, is actually less well understood than the mathematics. So when you talk about the mathematics of quantum physics corresponding to something physical or corresponding to some physicality, we don't have any idea what that means, because different physicists have different ideas about what constitutes physicality. Some will say an electron-positron pair in a, what do they call it? In that spin state, that entangled spin state, they will say that those are the physical things about which these equations speak, or of which these equations speak. But others will say, no, the equations, including perhaps Niels Bohr, the equations describe the entire experimental setup, not the particles of which it's assumed to be composed. And even if I'm only vaguely right about what people mean, that amount of slack in the meta-language is going to make it hopeless if you try to precisely formalize or formalize more precisely a meta-language in which to describe the mathematics of quantum mechanics. You just can't do it because you're moving to a less well understood language from a better understood language, and that's not going to work. That's a logical nonsense. So let's see how this camera worked. Let's try the zoom. Ah, that's half. So if I walk and talk now, is it any better when it's closer to my face? Did I have it on zoom 1 before? And is that why it seemed very close up?